Hi guys, this is a Holy Week in Jordanian calendar. I know in the US and other parts of the world they're celebrating Easter today, but for us it's Palm Sunday. That's why we have a 3-day weekend. So I have this devotional and I thought maybe we should do this one together and then go back to Lucado's devotional after this week. All right. In one sense, there's nothing intrinsically holy about this Sunday to Sunday that shows up on the calendar each year. But in another sense, it is a sobering and heartwarming time to meditate on the final week in the life of our Savior and consider how we must live our lives in light of Jesus' life. Celebrating Holy Week is not an obligation, but rather an opportunity. It is a chance to walk with the church throughout time and through the world as she walks with her bridegroom through the most important week in the history of the world. In the chaos of our increasingly fast-paced and hectic daily lives, Holy Week is a reminder to pause and meditate, to carefully mark each day and not let the greatest of all weeks fly by us like every other week. Jesus willingly died for his friends and endured unimaginable degrees of suffering to do so. This was an act of love, a love that was to love freely without reserve or limit and without flaw or failure. This type of love is unquenchable, unstoppable, and resolute. As we watch his arrest and trial and death unfold for 8 days, we gaze on a Christ who begrudges no pain or reproach on his pathway to redeem lost sinners. This is a human God-man who humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross. This is from Philippians chapter 2:8. This is true love. This is a devotional spanning from Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday. It is comprised of 8 excerpts selected from John Piper's vast 32 years writing and preaching ministry. This devotional can be used for personal, family, or group devotions. It can serve anyone who seeks a steadied gaze to watch our Savior as he loves us unconditionally. So feel free to share this with your family or just in a friend group. And so this is Palm Sunday, which is today. Luke 12:32. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Today's Palm Sunday, we picture ourselves welcoming the King into our city and into our hearts. He tries to make his intentions known by coming not on a great stallion, but on a lowly donkey, meek and humble. I wonder how many here look upon the lowly servant king and feel that this is just a thin veneer, and that beneath that lowly exterior, there is a terrible power and authority which is just waiting to burst out against you if you slip in anyway. I wonder how many feel that it is not really the deepest pleasure of the king's heart to serve his people and meet their needs. I wonder how many feel that he's riding the donkeys of lowliness as a kind of camouflage. And once he gains a foothold, he will throw off his rags, pull out his sword, and storm forth to do what he really loves to do, namely, judge and destroy. Of course, some will be saved, the few who somehow could please him, but that is not his heart's desire. He is basically angry, always angry, and the best we can do is stay out of his way, and maybe, if we keep the rules well enough, we could sneak by him when he is in one of his temporary good moods. God's deepest delight. Jesus is at pains to help you not feel that way about God. And I want to draw your attention to one verse, namely Luke 12:32, because every little piece of this verse is intended to help take away the fear that Jesus knows we struggle with, namely that God begrudges his benefits, that he is constrained and not out of character when he does nice things, that at bottom he is angry and loves to vent his anger. Luke 12:32 is a verse about the nature of God. It's a verse about what kind of heart God has. It's a verse about what makes God glad, not merely about what God will do or what he has to do, but what he delights to do, what he loves to do, and what he takes pleasure in doing. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. The phrase good pleasure is a verb in Greek, to be a pleasure or to be pleased by. You could translate it, it pleased God, or God chose it gladly. In other words, God is not acting in this generous way in order to cloak and hide some malicious motive. The word good pleasure utterly rules that out. He's not saying inside, I will have to be generous for a while even though I don't want to be, because what I really want to do is bring judgment on sinners. The Lord's meaning is inescapable. God is acting here in freedom. He is not under constraint to do what he doesn't really want to do. At this very point, when he gives his flock the kingdom, he is acting out his deepest delight. This is what the word means. God's joy, his desire, his want and wish and hope and pleasure and gladness and delight is to give the kingdom to his flock. In other words, give good gifts to his children and creation. So, yeah, that's the devotional for today. And I just watched a sight and sound production called Jesus. They are actually allowing people to watch it online for free all the way through today. So today is the last day if you want to catch that with your family or by yourself. If you don't know what sight and sound is, it's amazing production. It's a Christian production, and they usually write everything. They write songs, they come up with the choreography, they build their sets, and they always have these animals everywhere. I've seen a couple of their production live, and it's really mind-blowing. The theater is huge, and they do a really good job of putting their creativity and just all their talents to showcase God's glory and his story. And so if you are interested, I will post the link below so you can watch it. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes, and it's worth watching. And I think it'll be a good reminder of what this week will be about, and just like setting our heart in the right place. And I know I have been in a very difficult place in the past couple of days. It's very wearing. Like, this situation can really wear you down, and just it's almost like you have nothing to do, so you get distracted a lot more by all the things that you don't get to do, if that makes sense. And so I think that shows how weak our heart is, even though like our heart and our soul might be willing. I think our flesh is so weak, and when we are busy, we are distracted because we're busy, and we are not busy, we're distracted because we have so much time we don't know what to do with it. And so I hope this devotional can help you to refocus if you also have been kind of struggling, maybe just emotionally, spiritually, in any other ways, that you will take this opportunity to be close with God and talk to him and rethink about what Jesus did for us, for you, for me, and the preciousness of that gift. And so yeah, I hope this gives you something to, I guess, read and start and think about and meditate on. And yeah, we'll see each other tomorrow. Bye.